Well, hello everyone. We are the Rainbow Six Team Secret team, and we'll conduct a small interview to learn more about ourselves. We're gonna ask different questions about the player. So, yeah, hope it's gonna be fun.
I'll read out your questions.
My question. All right, you go ahead.
Can you introduce the Team Secret rosters to the Chinese fans? What roles do each person have on the?
Well, as you can see in the interview, there is 7 members right now. Used to be 6. Recently, we've added Rousty. We have FERRAL, FONKERS, Meepy, Leon, and ELEMZJE. And the roles on the team, I think I would say, is basically Meepy is the hard support. And I know a lot of people likes to put Leon on the entry frag and whatnot, but I think it's 4 flex. So 4 people who can do whatever needs to be done, and then maybe on hard support, IGLing for the most part. Yeah.
What is the daily routine of the team?
Daily routine of the team, I think it's changing a lot. It depends on you guys how you guys feels about it, but
it depends on how we wake up.
yeah, there's a lot of that.
Yeah,
But usually it's split up in 2 schedule a day. So for me, I'm from North America, so and everyone else is in Europe. But for me, in the morning at around 8 or 9 p.m., we usually do some team stuff. So either a scrim, or VOD review, or going over strat, or many things. Sometimes it can be like playing just another game just to be together. And after that, there's a second slot in the day where we do stuff. Usually this one is 100% scrims if we can. And that's in, for me, the afternoon. So for the players, it's going to be around 7 p.m., 8 p.m.
Yeah,
to like
8 p.m. for
right.
finished.
And that's usually how the day goes. I mean, we do that on a normal week 5 times a week. On the weeks where we need to prepare for tournaments and whatnot, usually it go to 6 or 7. Can't really take a break for these big events. So yeah, usually out of the day. I don't know if you guys have anything to add on that, but yeah, that's how I see it anyway.
Yeah, we tend to just focus on whatever we need more of. So if we feel like we need more actual game time, then we practice more scrims. If we need more strategy time or theory crafting, then it's more VOD reviews, it's more custom games where we look at things, look at angles, try and work out new strategies and things like that. It is really just what we need at the time.
And again, there's some weeks there's going to be more stuff. Some weeks there's going to be less scrim, I guess. Because being in Challenger League right now, there's more dead time for us than before. So it's important to burn out in this moment. There's nothing, but still improving, I guess.
All right, move on to the next question. Who is responsible for developing the new metas?
I think a lot of people. I think that's pretty much everyone. We don't have like one assigned person to work on strat or find new metas or watch VOD. I think everyone watches VOD, and as soon as we have a good idea, we try to go for it. I know FERRAL comes up with a lot of like crazy stuff. I know LMs like to do it. Recently in scrims, we've seen some crazy stuff on maps that we are not going to disclose right now, but but yeah, I don't think it's a one person role. So I think the whole team, as soon as we have an idea, we discuss, go over, see if it works, try it in scrims. If it doesn't work, we scrap it and move on. You never know where the next idea is going to be coming from. So yeah, really important just to try it.
With like making a strat, it's not just one person who makes it. It's usually one person who has an idea, and then everyone else like chimes in and develops it. And then in the end, we have like a solid strat, which works. So.
And then we decide if it's fucking bad or not.
Yeah.
Right. And like a lot of the time too is just like just an idea. Like I think there's a way to defend this spot. So like we start from there, and then like this specific room we want to get covered, and then we just expand how if we want to cover that room, assuming we do this little like micro strategy, how do we make it work in a grand scheme of thing and just like expand. Sometimes you realize quickly that you can do it, but sometimes it just works. It's new ideas that are coming this way.
All right, next question. When FONKERS joined the team, you once said that you would make him into the next Leon. For now, they all play a fragging role in the team roster. What's the similarities and the differences between me and FONKERS?
Well, I think what we said early on, and I think it's Meepy who coined this term when we were trying out FONKERS at the very beginning. I think what he said is we had different people we were trying out, and it was another person was, let's say, like a 9 out of 10, but like Funkers was I think like an 8 out of 12. So he has the potential to go to 12, while the other guy had the potential to go to 10. And that's why we picked Funkers, because we see a lot more potential in him than like other people we were trying out at that time. So I mean, we like, yes, they're on Fraggle rolls, but like I said earlier in the other question, everyone is on a Fragger support role. Not support, but flex. Sorry. So everyone flexes and does what needs to be done. So still working on it, but Funkers has been doing incredible in the last couple of months, and even in the OGA qualifiers, a lot of clutches that like saved our ass on mini maps.
Much.
Yeah. So next question is for everyone. So if you want to chime in, just chime in, say whatever you want to say. Next question is: are there any interesting nicknames for other team members that you would like to share?
Smiley boy.
Yeah.
Smiley Boy 55.
Would you like to elaborate, Funkers, on what Smiley Boy is?
So my first nickname in any platform was on PS3, and you had to create a nickname. And for some fucking reason, my nickname was in Finnish, Smiley Boy 55, which is Hymypoika 5 Finnish. And it's become like a team meme by now. And I'm not very fond of it, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm very fond of it.
I think I'd like to bring up HELBEE's second name, Daniel Desk.
Shut up.
Pretty much, it started off like way back in DreamHack. DreamHack Montreal, yep. And obviously HELBEE's last name is Bureau, which in French means desk. So that's where we got desk from. And then when we was outside waiting for an Uber, someone shouted Danielle, and HELBEE went, yeah. Like, oh, it's mine. And so me and Elem just put it together and just called him Daniel Desk.
Yeah, I'm not too fond of it, and it's worse than Smiley Boy. Smiley Boy is actually, funny, but Daniel Desk? Come on, man.
Yeah, but you got a better story to it, so
I do.
It's not good.
Any others you'd like to bring up, or?
I have no clue. I don't know anything else.
Me too.
There's not a lot of other. I mean, there's a 300 hours Blackbeard main, but
Oh, come on.
Got to bring it up.
The hours just keep going up.
Right. We would have to see and update that. Used to be 300 hours Blackbeard main, because back in the day, Blackbeard used to be OP, and FERRAL was known to be a Blackbeard main.
Yeah. And drop shot.
And drop shot. So it used to be 300 hours Blackbeard main, but now I think we need to update it. It's probably mostly around 5,000 now, right?
5,000? Okay.
Yes, 5,000.
I'm currently checking.
Are you? Oh.
I need to find it.
Let's make sure.
Go on. But keep going, guys.
All right, do I move on to the next question?
Yeah.
All right, next question is, which places would you like to go and travel to China? And what are your thoughts on the Chinese food?
Well, I want to go to Shanghai because wait, which James Bond was it? I think it was Skyfall, and they were fighting in like a skyscraper, and it was super cool. So I want to go to Shanghai.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'd like to go to like Shanghai as well. It's really beautiful and stuff. But I'd also like to go to like the rural areas where it's like, loads of forest and all that. Discover like, the cultures, you could say, around China.
Oh, right. And about the food, like this food called chicken chow mein, I think it is. It's something that my local Asian restaurant makes. It's super good. So I want to try the authentic Chinese version.
I know when we speak about food, I'm down for that too. It's one of the great thing about what we're doing and traveling to many competition is obviously trying all the new food we don't get to try, or at least like there is obviously some like quote unquote Chinese restaurant here, but never as good as the original stuff. So
Poutine without cheese.
Exactly, Funkers. You can say that. That's prohibited. But yeah, I mean, just getting the food straight from where it's coming from is like, it's great. And like, yeah, food, all the food in the world.
Anyone else want to chime in?
Yeah, obviously, I would just like to go to China and experience the culture, experience the places, and
just people.
Food-wise, I would be interested to see something not so popular in Western worlds, something from the local local stores or local restaurants, something that is local to that area where we are in China. That would be an awesome treat for myself.
All right, wait. Are dumplings Chinese? Because I don't know. I love dumplings. We had them in Japan, I know.
Montreal.
Yes,
too.
they are.
Oh, you were not in Montreal, Rip. Correct.
Don't
Wrecked.
twist the
Right.
knife in the wound, man.
Right, next question. I think everyone should really talk about it. So, like, you know, it gets like everyone's thoughts on how you like to warm up in a way, or like we are doing in spare time. But pretty much is, besides Siege, do you play any other games?
League
Play a
of
lot of
Legends.
games. I think you get started.
Right now. League of Legends.
Anything else? Fonkers?
Do you want to go into more detail about that?
Is that it?
That's a bit. I don't play anything else right now.
Ah,
honestly.
okay.
You don't play WoW?
No, I stopped like a month ago. When I dinged 60 with my warrior, which is the max level in WoW classic, I stopped.
Fair enough.
I'm back on Guild Wars 2 right now because like Fonkers, I play a lot of like MMOs and stuff like that. But I recently got back into Guild Wars 2 and I've been playing it quite a lot outside of practice time and self practice and things like that. I just genuinely enjoy MMOs because, especially the PvP side, I'm quite competitive, so I find that the high skill cap in player versus player on MMOs, because you have so many buttons, so many combinations, so many things to learn. I think that's a skill that really translates to a lot of other games, and I think, strangely enough, playing MMOs kind of helps me with Siege as well.
Fair enough. FERRAL, Willem?
For me, it's a mix of League, CS:GO, and Escape from Tarkov right now. I don't really play anything else outside of Siege. I try and keep playing like other FPS games so I can keep my aim up with like a similar sense, which also helps.
Yeah, me usually it's pretty much like FERRAL. I'm playing a lot of Siege, a lot of CS:GO too. Some other FPS like Overwatch and Apex. But recently, since like 2 weeks, I started playing League of Legends, and I'm kinda addicted right now. But that's fine.
Yeah, I'm kind of in. Go on.
I was saying that I need to keep playing Siege because we have a tournament.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm kind of in the same boat. I tend to try and stay in Siege. I don't really like to play other games, but currently I play a bit of COD. I'll play a bit of Destiny 2 when it's like got some new DLC, and I'm currently playing Pokemon and Luigi's Mansion on the Switch.
How's Luigi's Mansion? I'm thinking
It's
about
really
getting
good.
it.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, for me, I come from the real-time strategy world, so used to play a lot of games, mostly like real-time strategy. So think Age of Empire, other 4X game like Civilization, Endless Space, Stellaris. Just mainly a lot of real-time strategy. I think I was playing a bit of Counter-Strike before Rainbow Six, but Rainbow Six just completely cut me off of Counter-Strike, so I've been mostly doing that. And like most recently, I've been going over the story mode of Red Dead Redemption, which I'm having a great time with. Great time. It's always nice to have just a game where you don't have to focus on anything. You just like play the story and dumb fun, I guess.
Yeah. Ralsty, you got anything?
For the moment, I'm playing the Fallen Order, the Jedi Fallen Order. But yeah, I like HELBEE. I'm much more of a strategy game player. Been playing strategy games for a lot, and also Stellaris, Master of Orion, Civilization. I think now I've tried out this game, The Aftermath. It's a new game. I'm playing that. Also, my probably the game you guys hate the most, which I absolutely love, is Football Manager. So I played that for like since the beginning of that franchise, so I spend a lot of time on that one. You will also see me playing it in the future, I'm sure. But yeah, not obviously I have my share with Siege, playing the game since the beginning. So, but those are the games I play besides Siege at the moment.
All right. Next question is what are your thoughts about the current situation, problems, and the future of the pro scene? Brackets, Pro League, Challenger League, Go4, etc.
I think to jump in with the Go4s, I think Go4s are a great entry point for Rainbow Six if you want to just try out and dip your feet in the competitive scene and see what it's like to play at a level a little bit higher than ranked. Obviously, Go4s aren't what they used to be, which in the first year of Siege, they were the big thing to do, the big thing to take part in. Now they've kind of slinked back, and I don't think I've played a Go4 in 3 years now. I would like for Go4s to come back and give teams some kind of little bit of, not necessarily that even you would queue it with a full stack of professional players, just something to do on a Sunday with not necessarily your teammates, but just other professionals and other competitive players in general. Just form your own little teams and have some fun. Almost kind of like 10-mans or other minor competitive leagues and things, and exist in other first-person shooters. I'd like to see a little bit more effort put into the Go4s to make them more appealing for everyone who's playing them, instead of what they are right now, which is just kind of not necessarily abandoned, but not well taken care of, in my opinion.
Well, that's obviously a subject that we could talk about for a very long time, because it's nowhere near perfect in every level. I think generally what I say on my stream when people ask me what do you think about like this whole esports scene of Rainbow Six, right now it does feel like a Frankenstein monster. It's like a lot of pieces stitched together, and somehow it works, but like there's no like fine tuning, there's no beauty in it, there's no fine tuning in like how everything works right now. It feels rough in many level, and the time frame in every competition are very, very long. So like let's take for example in the last Challenger League season we had 2 bad games, and these 2 games determined the fate of the team for the next 6 months. That's half a year for like 2 games. It's absolutely insane. And like now I'm just happy that like with OGA coming up, we were able to qualify. But this is the first tournament where there was actually qualifier with the Vegas minor. Pardon me, but the OGA is the first tournament where there was a full-fledged, and the only way to access it was via qualifiers. It's the very first minor that's like that. Every minor before that, if you were in Pro League, you could it was fill a form as fast as you can, and hopefully you're the first one to fill it. In like 30 seconds, everyone fills it, and then you get invited. In that previous state of how things were done, we would not have been able to do anything. So that would have been like almost 6 months of like absolutely nothing, because we've had 2 bad games. But obviously with the OGA, we can compete against the best. We're going there. We qualified over teams that are now in Pro League, and it's great. I'm really happy about that tournament. But like I said, there's no beauty, there's no fine tuning in the sports scene of Rainbow Six right now, and hopefully that's going to change. But
I think every minor should have these type of qualifiers. Honestly, I think if we're gonna continue forward with the invite only thing from Pro League, it's just everything revolves around Pro League. I think.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It just seems like Rainbow Six esports right now is very much weighted towards the top end of gameplay. You look at other esports games, and I think this is what Siege definitely needs to transition into if they want to make this a long-lasting game. Is a lot of other esports games have a healthy host of minor, major, and premier tournaments, and teams can pick and choose which ones they want to go to based upon how they're feeling, and not out of a necessity of like we have to go to this tournament or else there's nothing else to do. If we're not in Pro League or Challenger League, then there's these little tiny things that are insignificant. They're the only things to really work towards. I think if Siege could branch out and have a healthier host of minors, majors, and premiers, then I could see the esports scene to start to flourish properly.
And I mean, just even look at it. Pro League is like for a period of like 6 months, divided in 2 within the middle of major or the invitational. But essentially, the competition happens over 2 months in that 6 months period. Because right now, for the past couple of seasons, we've been getting like super weeks. So there's like 1 or 2 games played a week. And essentially, that means like the Pro League is played within like 1 month. So like there's a lot of like time where nothing is happening.
Yeah.
It's the same for Challenger League. Challenger League could be spanned over like many months, but they like cram it all together in like 1 month where it all happens, and that's it.
Just play.
I mean, if you look at like Twitch overall, like every weekend there's like a CS tournament or something. I'm just comparing to CS because it's an FPS game as well. And Siege might have like a month or 2 month period where there's like 1 tournament. I don't like it. I think we need more content for the viewers.
Yeah. I think
Oh,
Meep
wow.
put it perfectly, like about saying how it's top heavy. Because
Yeah.
even like how you're saying, how you're saying about how it's like you have to get invited or like you have to sign these forms to go to events. If Allied Esports wasn't like every team can sign up at once instead of all Pro League teams first, we wouldn't have gone there. We wouldn't have won that, and we wouldn't have gone Raleigh.
Yeah.
Which the other teams in Challenger League or lower tier teams might have won that event. Although it's a lot less likely, there's still a chance it could have happened, and then
Yeah.
their whole career could have been passed.
Equal opportunities.
Yeah.
But
Right. And I mean, especially in EU, where like the competition in EU is just absolutely insane right now. There could easily be 10 Pro League teams, and like everyone would have a fair shot at the very least being in the middle of like the group. And I mean, also just recently, look at the example. It seems very likely that Rogue is going to disband for the only sin of getting relegated in Challenger League. So that for some region, Challenger League is a death sentence. I'm glad we have like secret support while like pushing in through relegation and then playing in Challenger League, but so many times I don't think there's ever been a season where a team that has been relegated that hasn't disbanded and moved on to some other project or players getting poached and whatnot. It's really bad right now.
Yeah, I remember seeing something the other day on Reddit. It was like every season of NA Pro League, a team is like has been relegated, disbanded, because it's just not sustainable.
It's nothing.
Yeah, it's just
There's nothing. And even
after.
I think Rogue was qualified too for the USN. I think.
Yeah, and obviously pilot program.
And even that is not enough to like keep a team together. Like they got like the players individually got offers from other team, they just took it because why are they gonna sit on their ass for 5 months doing nothing because there's no support there,
Yeah, I think that's a good way to. We spent a lot of time on that question.
Yeah,
so.
I mean we could go like even more into details, but it's like
of course,
it's a heavy subject. It's a heavy subject.
Let's get done with it.
Yeah, so obviously next question is, with the rework of Theme Park and the introduction of Kali and Momai, any thoughts on their gadgets, and do you think that this new map could shine and the operators could shine in the program?
All right, first of all, Theme Park, put in Pro League right now. I love it. I love that map.
Really good.
I think it's an interesting map. There's a like interesting flow, dynamic. You need to move around. There's like interesting defensive. There's like nice rotations, especially around the yellow stairs with like the small catwalk with two soft destructible wall on each side. It's a very interesting map, and hopefully we'll see it in competitive esports.
HELBEE, which map would you compare the new Theme Park to? Like from the
compare?
Yeah.
Might be a little bit too early to compare to anything. I've only played a couple times on the workshop, so maybe I don't know, maybe between 3 and 5 hours on it. So that's not like a lot. And the TTS, there's not enough player right now for me to get it in ranked or whatnot. But I don't know.
For me, it felt kind of like Contra a bit.
Right. I think there's some of that, especially in the new part, like the part that used to be hunted side. This part is very mobile versus like dynamic. But the other side is a little bit more like structure. It's kind of weird because like there's half a map that is like very structure. You can do step by step setup and try to plan, and the other side is very like move around, rotation, and flows quite a bit, like the movement. So it's really I love the map. I absolutely love it, and I would swap it for border or bank like in a heartbeat.
All right.
But new operators.
Yeah, new ops. What do we think about them?
I've not played Wamai myself, but I've seen some really cheeky things that you can do with this gadget, because it like sucks in throwables and projectiles and then detonates them where the device is placed. There's some fun places where you can throw them to either make it so that Capital ends up burning himself, or someone who throws a grenade ends up throwing it back at themselves. I think with enough theory crafting, you could do some really fun things with it. I think that's going to be the fun operator to play around with, where Kali is more of a straightforward type operator. She's got the sniper rifle, and she's got the gadget that can destroy things on the opposite side of reinforced things. So I think she's a bit more straightforward. The power of a sniper rifle is interesting. Some people think she's really strong. Some people think she's really weak. Some people think she's kind of in the middle. I think it'll really come down to the actual user and their ability to use the sniper rifle more so than the gadget. and I don't think she'll see much play, but there's always an opportunity for her.
Yeah, I think she's going to be a niche operator. You're definitely going to see her in maps like Consulate, Basement. Like she shines on long angles, right? So like a garage with like a big like wide outside space where she can snipe from afar is going to be useful. But like her gadget, like you said, she seems like a budget thatcher because it's easy to make it so the Kaid doesn't die from her gadget on hatches. So that's also a thing to consider. And with the Kaid, that seems to go with an expanded range. Like when she blows up in a wall, it's like a surface explosion. There's no like bubble around it, like a proper explosion. So it only destroys on the surface. So there's probably some spot you can put Kaid, and with the added range, it still covers it without being able to destroy it. So I think there's going to be some interesting stuff. But again, I think she's going to be niche and played, but not like mandatory like Thatcher than is.
Could say the same with Coastline too. Just a lot of maps where they play like Castle, Maestro, a lot of shields, just a lot of stuff for it to remove and long angles for it to play on.
Right, because also she destroys like shields and stuff like that. Right?
Yep.
I've just realized we're gonna get Carly sat on ruins for 20 minutes.
Oh no. But Wamai too, I think he opens interesting opportunity on some maps. Because right now Capital I think is OP, needs a nerf. I've been saying that for a while now. But if you look at maps like Clubhouse, holding Garage is very important, and Capital makes it hard. He also makes Bandit Trickin' hard when he's available. So I think Wamai actually opens up the possibility to not ban him and play Wamai in like different spot to try to counter the Firebolt. Which, it's always nice to have new tools in your toolbox, right? So I think that's going to bring some interesting position like that. And I mean, obviously the gun, if you play with the Og, which is an attacker gun on defense, it's like absolutely insane. It's going to be great. Maybe a little bit too strong, but great.
Yeah. I haven't really played the Orbs too much. I haven't had time to really go on the TTS and play that, as like just been doing other things. But like from what I've seen, they look pretty solid. Not too strong, but like obviously not too weak either. And I think the gun for Wamai is really good as well. I love using the Org, and I think it would be great to use in defense as well.
I'm glad I didn't have an ACOG.
I mean, it's been a great change recently. Like, no operators were like released absolutely broken OP like before. When Lion released or other operator. I know Nomad was kind of OP, but they nerfed him at the TTS. Yeah. And then like quite rapidly they just added like sound to the Nomad, and like she's still a bit annoying to deal with, but she's not like nowhere near OP as like she used to be.
Yeah, definitely.
Now we have to look forward to Amaru and Goyo.
All right, so next question, obviously for everyone. In the recent Season 10 finals, Wildcard Era surprised us all with their great gameplay and talents. What do you think about APAC's performance?
I think they're slowly but surely coming more into the limelight. I think the competitive level and the professional level of the APAC scene is and has always been on the rise. Obviously, they're kind of islanded on that side of the world due to like ping, and not many teams want to play against teams with large amounts of ping. So the only international practice they tend to get is when they come to these events and they start practicing other teams, or when they boot camp, or if they boot camp in other countries. I think what happens is that after every single event, the teams that show up dramatically improve afterwards because they get a proper taste of what the rest of the world is playing like, and they bring that home with them. And through trickle down, that slowly starts to affect the rest of the teams in that region. And recently, obviously, Fnatic, they make it to most international LAN events. They're the ones that have gotten that big boost in performance, but now that we're seeing some new faces on the block, obviously they're not necessarily new teams, but new faces to international tournaments, they're getting a piece of the pie now, and they're going to be trickling it down through their own individual leagues in their own regions. So I think APAC is and always has been getting better. They just get better slowly due to their islanded nation.
It's always nice to see other teams too come into LAN, because before it was Nora Rengo and Fnatic always like coming to LAN, international LAN, getting the experience, and then bringing back the experience to their respective region. But having new teams, I think, might also accelerate this the speed at which like new region learn how other region play the game and like grab some experience faster and improve.
I mean, the reason why Fnatic had such like success is that they were the first team to actually go full time in APAC. Like,
Right.
the vast majority of the APAC teams still study full time or have full time jobs alongside scrimming. So,
I mean, just
Yeah.
Lunar Metal, who like from Iroh Wolf, who just recently they made it to the Pro League final, but now he like and the Invitational, and he's like, yeah, I might have to go back to studying because I cannot keep up and do it full time. And he's qualified to the biggest tournament of the year. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, obviously lack of funding and real exposure
Right.
really puts down APAC. But I also think it's like a mix of like they can't get to the minors as well, right? Like obviously OGA we're seeing Norengo going, but that's only because like it doesn't conflict with many things. You need to like it's a lot of money, and obviously they can do that because of the pilot program. But these other teams don't have pilot program, so they can't do that.
Right.
All right, so next question is, Team Secret is a fragging heavy team, and some people compare us to Team Empire, but not like Empire. The roles in your team switch more often. Like Meepy can be on support as well as a fragger, so is FERRAL and Leon Gids. How do you decide when to switch roles?
It really just comes down to who feels more comfortable on what operator in that specific region. So some people have more practice or more experience in dealing with a specific scenario. So for example, when you look at our team and I ask you who on Team Secret are the roaming players, you'd point at Leon, FONKERS, FERRAL, and ELEM. You wouldn't expect it to be me. But yet we have strategies where I am a roamer, where I am not a hard support, I'm not playing smoke on site. I'm actually a roamer defending a specific key area of a map. And the reason why that is because I have a lot of experience in prior lineups, in previous strategies and things like that, where I have done this before. And I've done it so much that I understand the concept of it better than all of my teammates. And it is easier for me to play that role than it is to teach that role. And same goes for every single player in other positions. Some rounds you'll see FONKERS is playing Jaeger, and then the next round on a different bomb site, it's suddenly ELEM. It's because what their role requires, or the position that they play, needs that operator, or needs that gun, or needs that gadget, whatever the situation may be, to excel more. So that's why in Team Secret, people just play different things all the time. It's because of experience in previous strategies.
Yeah, I think like when you're obviously a professional team, I don't think there's any excuses for your team to be on like hard set and done roles. Like I think everyone who's played in a professional team needs to be able to play every role, at least at like a decent level, to really make yourself a good player and make yourself really adaptable. Obviously, like any time we want, we can just throw me on Thermite, Meepy on Ash, and stuff like that, and it doesn't really matter. It doesn't change much. And sometimes you'll see me playing Smoke as well. It depends on the situation you're in and how you need to handle it. And sometimes these other operators are just better well suited for what you're doing.
And I mean, a lot of teams call us a monkey team, which I totally see why they would call us that way. But I think the spectator is the spectator camera in Rainbow Six is a little bit hard on showing information gathering, and a lot of our plays are that might seem at first sight like it's completely random and we just like take a big risk. A lot of our plays are based off of information we're gathering, and then we're like, maybe I can do this play, and then like there's a coordination that's coming, and then people push together and make something happen. It might look crazy on the spectator cam because it's very poor at showing drones, cameras, and other gadget that like relays information, but our playstyle relies a lot on that, and in that way, I think is what makes us similar to Empire. Empire is more the way they go, the way I see they do things is more like very structured, step by step. But as soon as a step like mess up, they have so much information that they can like quickly fix and patch the holes in their strat. and keep on going with the initial strategy. I think we're less step by step than they are, but I think that would be the major difference between us. But we've been working hard on like information gathering and aiming towards something like Empire, because obviously it's a core mechanic that's in a lot of region underused to like drone and cameras and information.
Yeah, one thing comes to mind. It was Vegas. I can't remember exactly who we were playing, but I remember that it was Coastline. And just during the round, FERRAL drones the site. He drones the kitchen bomb site. And he just sees that he can jump through the window and kill 3 people. And he sees the information. He trusts his information. He goes off of his information. He jumps through the window and kills 3 people. And we win the round based off of that play. So I can understand where HELBEE's coming from. Like, teams look at us like the monkey team. But FERRAL's play there is perfect because he has the information, he has the confidence, and he has the skills, and he executes it perfectly. And that's how you can just win a round. You don't need some grand strategy that you spent an hour in a custom game dry running. Sometimes in Rainbow Six, decisions have to be made instantaneously. And if you trust it, if you trust yourself, and you go for it, and you get the job done, who cares? You're still winning.
It's like it's also like the rush strat. Like a lot of teams, like when they start around, they're like, all right, we're doing the rush strat that we prepared. But we don't have like rush strat. It's like if we see the info and we can rush, we're gonna do it. But like we don't get in the round saying, yeah, we're totally gonna do the rush strat. It's like it's something that on the fly we do, and I think that's also a difference.
Yeah, it's like when I killed the beepers plant on border.
Never forget.
Oh no, never forget.
Yeah, it almost worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It was
think
so
that's what helps us out a lot. Obviously, we don't just stick to like one plan. We see what they're doing first, and then we'll change our style of attacking or our way of attacking just by seeing what they're doing first.
And if we see an opportunity, we just go for it.
Yeah,
we're not shy to try new things, even in a land match that's really important.
Yeah, we prepare some stuff for Cohesion
Oh yeah.
that we tried yesterday, and it worked.
Oh yeah.
That was great. I think we have a very explosive style too. Like people like to watch us. So whenever we are at the LAN event, we usually have one of the top 3 like best game of the event.
Next one is, can you say something for our Chinese players and fans?
Ni hao.
谢谢 for the support. I don't know how to say for the support in Chinese.
No, just welcome to our 6.
It's like thanks.
I hope you enjoy it.
I don't know if you guys remember, but there was actually a Chinese team who came to, I think it was the second invitational or the first one. No, the second invitational.
Yeah.
They came for a show match against a Brazilian team. And I think that's the very first and the very last time I've seen any Chinese team play Rainbow Six competitively. Yes, thank you. That word. So I think that's the very last time I've seen a Chinese team play. And obviously, I'm looking forward to having more region. The APAC scene was the latest edition, but hopefully we can get more. I know India recently got a scene too.
Yeah.
And hopefully China will follow with a more like in the circuit, like with every other region, be able to play against each other. It's always nice to have more teams. I mean, the more team they are in the scene, the more like the meta gets pushed to its very limit, and the more thing we can learn about the game. So that's always great.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously, for all fans, I mean, Chinese fans and all fans all around, we're really thankful for the support. I mean, I'm the newest member, but I think I can say that also. And for the players, I mean, Chinese players, for everyone who wants to be at their best in this game or anything, you basically just need 4 things. You need a plan, to work really hard for that plan. You need to believe in yourself. You need to trust in yourself. And those are maybe the key 4 elements. You need to actually become a good Rainbow Six Siege player, even pro player. But the main thing is just work hard. I think it's something I think it's the most important thing I want to give to any player within my reach, I think.
Yeah.
All right. These next questions are for individuals, obviously. So we're going to start.
Can I read it? Can I read it?
I can go.
If you want to. Yeah.
All right. So this is for me, P.
Meepy without a second E.
Yeah,
Third.
Third.
yeah, third, yeah. Okay.
Go.
In the 10th seasons of CL, you end up with 1 lose and 1 draw against Force, but you won against them by 2-0 in OGA Pit qualifier a month later. How did you prepare for that in such limited time?
So it's within the scene. It's well known that Fours absolutely refused to practice anybody in Challenger League leading up to it, and even for a little bit of time afterwards. So the amount of information that we had on them as a team for Challenger League was very limited to what we saw in Rally, and they'd changed up a few things that had happened in Rally. So the VOD information that we had wasn't necessarily the best that we could get. Now, after facing them and then being able to maybe practice against them once or twice a little bit later on, going into OGA Pit, we had a much clearer picture as to what we were going to go up against. And obviously we had an entire season of Challenger League VODs to watch now, where they played every single team in Challenger League twice on 2 different maps. So we had all this information to go off of. We had absolutely everything we needed that was all fresh. It was all relevant. It was perfect. We saw what they did, what maps they liked, how they liked to play exactly. And it gave us a bigger window of opportunity to really work in some counter strategies. And not necessarily a counter strategy where we would counter their entire plan, but more so, this player really likes to go to this thing and he likes to watch this door, and eventually he'll go through that door. So if you just sit here in that corner and stare at the door for the entire round, you'll kill him. And we had little things like that placed across the entirety of our OGA Pit qualifier match against them, which constantly and consistently produced results. The guy would push through that door as expected and he would die every single time. And Fours are the kind of team that like to do similar things every round with only minor changes. So we were able to use that to clinch out a victory against them. And I'm pretty proud of my teammates and myself for the preparation and the work that we did for it. I think we really pulled out all the stops for that one, and it was a very important match to win. And it's got us to OGA Pit Croatia, so I'm happy with it.
And I mean, go on.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that the difference between the CL game and the OGA game, I think it's because on the OGA game we did better map veto against them, because with all the, like Mipi said, with all the infos, the map they play, the map they don't like, we just like made a plan for the veto and we managed to do it perfectly. So I think they was kind of surprised to play some maps against us, and that's why I think we beat them. We just did a better veto.
I mean, yeah, exactly. And I mean, they're also a little bit more predictable than us when it comes to map veto. And we pretty much knew that we're gonna pick border because at that point in the Challenger League season we banned border almost every time we could on the first ban. So for them it was like, oh, they're not good at border, but in the background we still like work on border. Like it's not a map we don't play. We don't have a map pool. Like the map pool is 7 maps, so we want to be comfortable on 7 maps. And I like we worked hard on border, and yes, it's one of their good map, but like we worked it hard enough so we were good at it. And I think they thought that map was in a book for them. It would be an easy one, and we managed to just snag a win on them. And since it was on like 99% of the chance that we're going to pick it, well, we were ready for it. And like we hadn't played border since, was it Vegas? So the last video, the last VOD they had Rally. Okay, so the last right. So the last VOD they had on us from border was like a couple of months old. So and like at that point we changed a lot of stuff because it was not working anymore, and we banned it in Challenger League. But we changed everything and managed to work. The time frame is closed, but we do it full time. So we gotta show we're actually professionals.
No, as the team captain, how do you train and improve the cooperation among the team members?
Well, to train the cooperation and the teamwork of the team in general, it comes just through playing together for a long period of time. It's not something that you can quickly acquire. It's not something that can be bought. It's not something that can just happen out of thin air. It requires a lot of dedication from each and every individual member of the team. Everyone in the team has to want to work together. And with that mentality and mindset, slowly over time, you start to form this cohesive bond as team members. And that is probably why we've stuck together for so long with this lineup. And that's why I firmly believe that if we keep going on like this and we keep playing better and we keep improving, not only in game, but as teammates and friends, then I think Team Secret Rainbow Six could be going some pretty good places.
And I mean, it's not like it's always roses and butterfly. Like we've had some very, very rough time. We just managed to go through and get out of that better, I guess.
I think since we brought Rousty onto the team, he's been a tremendous help, specifically with a team like Cohesion. Obviously, Rousty is a performance coach, and he's been doing his part since we brought him on, and he's been doing it exceptionally well. I think Rousty is a big reason why we as individuals, when we go through ups and downs, but he's there behind the scenes helping us through everything.
Yeah, I think, the main things on, improving cooperation or cohesion is just to, first of all, know yourself, know your weaknesses, know your strong points, and start working from there. And I think for the most part, what I do and what I help people out is just to listen and try to come up with suggestions, solutions, and stuff for people to work on. And I think that's been my part, and we have worked our butts off on that sense to improve ourselves and be as cohesive unit as we can be. And but as always, there's still a lot of work to be done, and we're just trying to keep the process up. And yeah, I mean, that's how do we train or improve we should try to improve ourselves, I guess, in many different ways. And that's kind of my stuff, what I bring into the team, I guess.
Right. Next questions are for me, so I'd
Alright,
rather
I
someone
can go.
else tell them
I can go.
than
I'll
go. All right, so
Alright.
Leon, tell me.
Yeah.
How do you practice your aim every day? Is there any advice to improve them?
Well, it depends on like how or where I am. Obviously, at LAN, I don't practice my aim at all. I just come in on the day, I just play and do my thing. But typically, when I'm at home, I like to play some ranked before, do some stream or something, and then come into the scrim. I typically try to keep like a minimal amount of game time before a scrim or a match, because the more I play, the worse I do. Typically, yeah, that's pretty much how I do it. But the advice I'd give for improving your aim is just keep a consistent sense. And if you feel like you need to go up or low, like don't change it too drastically. Just change about 1 or 2 every now and then. Like slowly over the year, I've lowered my sense from like 14 to now 8, and I feel a lot more comfortable in it now. And just keeping it consistent is the best thing to do.
What's your sensitivity with DPI?
Currently, I'm on 8, 45, 800 DPI.
Who's the highest on the team? Is it FERRAL?
Yeah, probably 520, 1600.
1600?
Yeah, you're the highest.
You're the highest. You are an excellent sledge player and mastering both the L85 and the SMG11 and able to switch between them perfectly depending on the situation. In what circumstances do you suggest to switch from one to another? Same goes from Dokkaebi, Amaru, and all ups that have pretty much 2 guns.
I think it depends on the situation, obviously. Like with Sledge, obviously you get an ACOG and a holo. So typically when I'm going for these close quarters fights, I like to take the holo because then you can wide swing without having to force yourself into peeking one angle, which allows you to be able to kill or flick to another player a lot easier. With operators like Dokkaebi, at the moment I'm using the CZ, but when using the SMG11, you want to keep it really close quarters compared to using the DMR. Same with Hibana because of the recoil. And just trying to stick with your main gun is the best thing and use it as like a last resort. But yeah, with the L85, obviously, use it in your long range angles, and then with the SMG, use it when you're trying to get up close and personal and aggressive.
All right, so Leon, tell me, how is it going with your Pokemon? Swords or Shield? Which one?
I'm playing through Pokemon Sword. I've completed the game, done the Elite Four, done the Champion. I'm currently just like shiny hunting and trying to get the Pokédex complete, really. Right, Elem.
All right. Well, moving on to Elem. Elem, now
Yeah,
your
yeah.
time to shine.
You ready, Elem?
Yeah, it's me. It's me.
What will you prefer if there's a chance to entry and defeat the enemies, but your support worker's not?
It's basically saying, would you entry despite not being or despite not doing your role as a Thatcher or a hard breach or something like that? Basically, it's asking you, you know, are you gonna entry if you see an opportunity, or will you stick back and support and actually get the walls open first and throw your Thatcher devices and you know?
I would say it depends on the situation and the map. Like for example, like me as a player, I'm most confident when I'm playing LAN. So I think when I'm playing LAN, I will do like those moves, like trying to go for an opportunity, even though I didn't do my job. But most of the time, I'm still like, if I'm playing Ipana, for example, I'm still gonna open my hatches, like do my job. If I'm Thatcher, I'm still gonna EMP the wall to let like the termite open the wall and stuff. But so I will rarely go for an opportunity if I didn't do my job. But if I can, I will do. Like if I'm very confident, I will do. And after you said that sometimes I claim the most kills, maybe, but my teammates are doing the job too, so I want to shout out to them.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. I only have one question, so.
Yeah. Next is up, Funkers. So Funkers, we found out that your major operators consist of Zafir, Ash, Jaeger, and Legion. Does this match your play style? And do you have any other secret weapons to share?
Well, I think they match my playstyle really well. I'm pretty aggressive, so the operators suit me well, especially Sophia, which probably see me on 99% of the time you see me play anywhere ever. I don't really play the Legion, to be honest. That could be a change for maybe Bandit. I don't know. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, Bandit.
Like Valko Bandit, yeah.
Yeah,
Valko,
Yeah.
Valko Bandit, yeah.
Or Vigil.
And Vigil, yeah. For secret weapons, I think you will see this new phenomenon in OGA called Smonkers. Fonkers or Smonkers.
Smonkers.
In one map, one strat, it will be Smonkers. It is magnificent and divine, as Leon would say. A bit maybe even flamboyant.
Divine.
I agree.
And that's about it, yeah. Smonkers for the win.
All right.
Actually,
Pretty
Leon,
aggressive
wait.
rolls overall.
The last question should be asked in rally English by me from Funkers, since we're
Hello.
both Finns. So I try to do my best Funkers impression. So sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
As one of the top frackers in your team and EU, you are placed directly with other teams' top gunners. What do you think is the key to win those tough gunfights?
That was a great impression of me, actually. But
Jesus.
I think the key to winning gunfights is just be confident and trust your aim. It shouldn't matter who's on the other side of the barrel. Just point and shoot, pretty much. Yeah.
All right. Next
Yeah.
questions are for Ferrell. You used to work in G2 as an analyst. What brought you back into the field of playing in this team, which has become one of G2's biggest headaches? How has your analyst role affect your gameplay?
Well, what brought me back to playing was Premlan. I got it, played in the final against like Secret on Vexed with Doki and Zach, and then when I played that LAN event, I realized that I didn't want to coach anymore and I wanted to go back to playing. It was like it like opens my eyes to like what I could actually like do and play. So and then the months after that, I just became like really unmotivated doing analyst work. So my work just like started degrading and I didn't really enjoy what I was doing. So it's like one of the main reasons why they dropped me in the end is because I simply just didn't want to do it anymore. How's analyst role affected your gameplay? So before the night before we go into a big game, I go back and rewatch the VODs that we've already watched on our opponents. I don't watch it for the same reasons. I watch it for like my own interests, like drone placements, where people entry, just like really small things that give you a lot of impact. So knowing where drones are placed, you can get like 3-4 drones maybe off the round like straight away. And knowing where people entry, you can just kill them right off the bat if you know where they're going to entry from.
Next question. In the upcoming OG Pit Season 3 land stage, you are going to face many teams, many wonderful teams, all over the world, including G2. Judging from your experience in working in G2, what do you think it takes to possibly defeat them?
Defeating most teams, defeating a team like G2, you basically need a lot of adaptability, because the way that G2 IGL, if Pengu or Fabian see something, they're going to call all of their team to come help them do this one thing. Say, take a site, take a room, like push the site. So you need to be on your toes, and you always need to be adapting to what you're doing against them. Like that was one thing we struggled against when we played them in Raleigh. We played too static. We didn't adapt. There was no communication. We froze up, and it just wasn't how we actually wanted to play. Against Rogue, that all changed. Like the day after, it was like a huge wake-up call. Like everyone was playing how they should have. There was no choking, no freezing. Everyone was communicating. Like Elem, FONKERS, they were all like saying ideas on how we can push and take stuff. So it wasn't just like myself and Meepy and Leon who were calling. So it helped a lot.